Oh my God. What have I done? Brian Kohberger is fucking cooked. Crime scene notes. Detailed crime plan. Detailed evil crime scene plan. Step by step. I was wrong. I was wrong. Bitch, I'm never wrong, bitch. What do I look like? You think I'm wrong? I'm never wrong, babe. That's not true, but you guys know, like 99% of the time, I'm not wrong. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it because I just found these little detailed crime notes that was released in this 70-page document. Is he cooked? Is he cooked? I'm literally trolling and you clicked because you liked this title. Methylene Blue, don't do what I do. Please stop asking me what brand it is. I'm not going to share. Okay, this is literally a brand that we buy at our facility. So yeah, I'm not really legally allowed to share that. So yeah, don't do what I do. Okay, this can literally unalive you if done wrong, if it can interact with meds. Okay, this is Methylene Blue. Okay. I had like a drop of it earlier. I'm sweating. I'm a little hot. Let's talk about this, guys. I see that there's a lot of you guys in here. We're going to be talking about this evil, dark, detailed plan that is going to be used against Brian because guess what? He fucking wrote it. Okay? Was I wrong? Were you wrong? Are we effing idiots for siding with this man who is supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty? Let's get to it, right? So I am pulling up the state's reply to the defendant's objection to the motion in limine, the response to the self-authentication, right? And if you guys want to follow along, you can do so at coi.isc.idaho.gov. We're going to be talking about this crime scene scenario final that he wrote for school. And what does the media do? Okay, they take things and they manipulate them, and now they're saying, this is the plan. He unalived literally everybody, and not only that, but he also fucking planned it, and now we have notes to prove it. But this is something that he wrote while he was in school. Of course, the media didn't tell you that, right? Do you guys remember when we first talked about those Reddit surveys and everyone was like, oh my God, that is so fucking dark and morbid and gory and creepy. How could somebody literally go on Reddit and ask those disturbing questions? Now, if you guys have studied psychology, maybe yourselves as I have, or whatever else you went to school for. For me, for psychology, guys, when I was getting my master's, I had to do these surveys. We had to do these surveys with people, so they're typical surveys. This is not the survey. This is his crime scene scenario final. And unfortunately, we know how the state is, and they're gonna try to use this against him when the trial begins. This is really effed up in my opinion, right? I'm gonna read it to you guys. We're gonna go through it together, right? Arriving at the crime scene. This, by the way, was written back in May 5th, Cinco de Mayo 2020. Okay? They're saying this man wrote this crime scene scenario final for school and then committed a crime years later in a separate state, that he had planned it and this is what he used. Like when you go to school for psychology, especially criminology, anything, they make you write crime scene scenario finals such as this one to the normal person who doesn't go to school for that. Yeah, of course it's gonna look effing weird. Just like if you were to go through my or maybe your Google search engine through your searches, it's probably gonna be a little bit weird because we like true crime. We like looking at K-bars. We like looking at pew-pews. We like looking at crime scenes, maybe. right? So this is what it says. Arriving at the crime scene. The first thing to be done is block off the crime scene in order to avoid crime scene contamination. Keeping people out of the scene minimizes evidence contamination, though many may be curious to see what occurred. The theory of transfer states that we bring with us to the crime scene and take something away, thus skewing the crime scene from the original state by contamination. This is because the original state of the crime scene was left by the criminal suspect. A lack of contamination allows the scene to be snapshot in time. The curious must be noted and immediately evicted from the scene. People to be kept out of the scene include unauthorized civilians, which is interesting, right? Because again, just a friendly reminder, we know that in the IDAHO4, the crime scene is the opposite of a clean crime scene. It's fucking contaminated. Why? Because dumbass Dylan and Bethany called their friends over instead of calling the cops, right? They went on social media for fucking hours. They were browsing the internet, surfing the web, and then they called their friends over. So yeah, the crime scene is contaminated, babe. I swear to God, they giving me blood pressure issues. Not really. People to be kept out of the scene include unauthorized civilians and any more than the absolute minimum number of law enforcement agents and forensic crime processors. Waiting for the backup to arrive, I should stand guard at the scene, preventing these unauthorized people and even holding back eager officers from entering the scene. Okay, so what I'm noticing here is that this is not written from the perspective of a person committing a crime, like Nancy Disgrace and Ashley Gangfield is talking about. Okay, this is not written from the perspective of a criminal. This is written from the perspective of somebody processing the scene. This is a typical final for a criminology student, right? So nothing weird about that. He is writing from the point of view as somebody who would be processing the scene. He's saying he would technically be standing guard at the scene, preventing random people from entering, which, by the way he wrote this, it's extremely detailed. And I think more law enforcement, especially law enforcement in Moscow PD, need to read this. Maybe they'll learn a little something, because let's be real, they fucked up that crime scene. That crime scene was already fucked up because Dylan and Bethany called the entire gang of sorority and frat people over, right? Did they not, allegedly? And then on top of that, what have we seen? We have seen fucking piggies, oink, oink, oink. I like to offend you because you get easily triggered. So I'm just going to use that word to piss you off even more, right? Although I have a family of law enforcement myself. I am a military veteran myself. So if you're going to skew my words, say that I hate all piggies, no, I just hate bad piggies, bad piggies. And here we had bad piggies. Here we have lying piggies. Here we have Piggy Payne, Piggy Mary, lying, 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 whole bunch of fuckery, right? Says Outdoorsy Life, whole case is full of fuckery. And we have seen the pictures of the piggies that were processing the crime scene. What did we see, by the way? Okay, first of all, I know damn well that if I saw these images, you saw them as well, where you have cops all over the place. You literally have cops all over the place, and are they wearing booties? Are they wearing hairnets? No, the fuck, they're not. They are not. Literally fucking up the crime scene. So please, if you're a Moscow piggy, maybe look up this crime scene scenario final written by Coberger 5 fucking years ago. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two, okay? Put on those booties, stand guard at the door to make sure that people who are not authorized are not entering there. And we also know that the crime scene was skewed because there was a glove found by a random person who was checking out the crime scene, a retired detective, right? What did he find? Oh my God, look, I just arrived here with my wife and look, oh wow, a leather glove, literally in the fucking yard. You're telling me this crime scene is packed, jam-packed of DEA guys. Okay, those guys that you have speculated, oh my God, they are evil guys, you know, the guys with the boots and the hair. Those guys, okay, in my opinion, I have family members as well who are DEA. These guys look like they're DEA to me. So here we have a crime scene, DEA guys all over the place, FBI agents all over the place, piggies all over the place. They can't fucking keep a crime scene clean. For God's sake, learn from this man, his final, at least. That's the least you could do. How do you even miss a glove? How does some random person that isn't even part of the group that's investigating, was his last name Donahue, the cop, the retired detective that found the glove? If he hadn't randomly magically shown up because he was interested in this case, do you think that the piggies, the agents, DEA would have even spotted that glove? I'm going to say probably not, okay? Those cowboys, yes, those cowboys are probably DEA. That's just my opinion. I've been around too many fucking LE people, okay? Literally, that's my entire life. Most of my family is LE. Yes, thank you for the name suds. Chris McDonough. Brian's evil plan notes. It's literally his fucking final from school, so yeah. This is what he says. Waiting for backup to arrive, I should stand guard at the scene, preventing the unauthorized people and even holding back eager officers from entering the scene. Brian, I wish you would have been there, because then we would have gotten closer to this case. Maybe we would have solved this case by now had he been there, because in this case, in such a small fucking town, one of the largest cases in the entire US of A as of late, we had a lot of eager officers probably trying to enter the crime scene. So yeah, he would have done his job according to this final for his university degree. I must call my immediate supervisor and inform them of the deceased white female who's approximately 35 years of age. And this is what really triggered a lot of people, because you know, Ashley Gangfield, Nancy Disgrace took this and fucking skewed it, right? They skewed this final, literally a final for school. They're like, oh my God, he wrote this plan. And it's like talking about deceased white females. Deceased white females who are approximately 35 years of age. Oh my God, he's so sick. He's literally talking about the girls. Ah. Really, bitch? I think they went with white female, approximately 35 years of age, because that's about like the typical age, the typical average female in the US of A. I must obtain an initial search warrant to search the scene. Right? Was that ever actually really done in this case? Or were they searching and trying to make the crime fit Brian Kohberger post-search warrant? Failing to do so will mean that the evidence is inadmissible. This is another reason why holding personnel from entering is key. The coroner must be called in to pronounce the woman dead, and EMS should be called if they were not already called by the patrol officer 15 minutes earlier. But did the coroner actually enter to the house to pronounce the victims dead? Because from what we have heard so far is that they were kind of blocking the coroner. They're like, oh my God, this is a little too gory for you to see. Bitch, that's her job. How long was it until they allowed coroner Maybet to go actually look at the victims? It's something that should be questioned. Like, that's not something that should be hard to answer. EMS should be called if they were not already called by the patrol officer 15 minutes earlier, as they would have provided emergency care if the woman showed signs of life. What's interesting to me, and I just saw a comment about before going live, some of you guys were like, I don't know, man. I don't know, Nika. Part of me still thinks that this is fucking made up, that nobody actually was passed away or unalive, because we've actually never seen images of body bags, which is so true. Let's be real. Even in cases where there's like celebrities and you're not supposed to take pictures and there's so much security where, you know, they don't want cameras, pictures of body bags, bro, around famous people. Even in those cases, somebody always manages to take a damn picture. But here it's like, where are the body bags? I'm not saying this didn't happen, right? But I'm just saying it is a little bit odd that we still haven't seen them, right? This would have been important for many reasons. Her livelihood is one reason, but from the stance of a patrol officer or criminal investigator, she may have given a dying declaration of her attacker when informed of her impending death. And that just makes me wonder, really horrible, really disturbing things, right? I'm gonna just theorize here. Theorizing. Okay, let's put our fucking neurons together here. Just theorizing. Don't get all sensitive. Don't get all bent out of shape. OMG. Let's just assume that any of the victims was still alive, maybe showing some sort of life, right? Any sign of life when the cops showed up, right? Let's just pretend for a second here. We are going to add to this theory that if any of the victims had been alive, and if maybe law enforcement was involved in some sick way, because it's not that far-fetched, because we have seen law enforcement be involved in horrible things. We just saw last year 250 law enforcement officers, sheriffs, firemen, military members, active duty, retired, everything you can think of, 250 plus people that were involved in trafficking pharmaceuticals, trafficking kids, women, everything, right? Don't trust these people just because they have fucking badges. Like, bro. Oh my God, Nika, but like, I pray to God that you never need to call law enforcement, because like, that's gonna be the day when you really regret talking bad about the cops. Like, oh my God. That's why I have bullets, batch. That's why I have my own pew-pews, right? That's why I have K-bars, motherfucker. Don't you worry about me. And by the way, I'm not saying all LE is bad, okay? My family is mostly LE, literally 90% LE. Most of them are good people, but there's a lot of bad fucking apples. So I'm just saying. If any of the victims were alive when LE got there, and if LE had been in one way or another involved, why would you let the coroner in? Wouldn't it make more sense to have her wait outside until they completely pass away, so that way they cannot give their dying declaration of their attacker? As mentioned here by Mr. Brian Kohberger in his 2020 final for school. Forensic services are next on the list to call, as they are best equipped to handle the evidence, process it, and ensure that there is not any contamination. Okay? Thank you, Brian Coberger, for teaching us how to do things the proper way. Maybe Moscow PD should hire you, because they didn't fucking do any of that, right? From what we saw, a lot of the evidence was just kind of thrown all over the place, sometimes not covered. Some of these cops were not wearing gloves, babe. Literally were not wearing gloves. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying the bodies were in the U-Haul. I'm saying we never saw the bodies. Where are the bodies? A cursory search of the immediate area should be done, and any observations should be recorded in my field notes as to ensure the integrity of the preliminary case report. Officers who are not needed at the residence should ensure that the general area is searched for anything that stands out as well. This includes the area of the trailer park, which contains 62 trailers. If there is anyone in the trailer, they should be moved out and questioned. Does she have kids? I should gather the following information in my notes as the investigation commences, which will later be included in my preliminary case report when the details of the case culminate. The offense, the time of day, date, and approximate time of offense if known, identification of the victim, location of the offense, the method of operation if known, and the ID of the officer. Since the offender was not there, I would be unable to record this information initially, and the specifics of the crime would not be known until confirmed by the crime lab. Getting the approximate time is important and can be indicated by rigor mortis, which sets in at about 12 hours, or putrefaction about 10 to 20 days. All this information will aid me as I attempt to reconstruct the scene of the crime based on the evidence location in relation to its former known position. Equipment I will have on hand for the investigation. Again, a friendly reminder, this is literally a young man who's writing a final, and as somebody who studied some criminal psychology when I was getting my master's in psychology, they literally give you a sheet or a couple of sheets. They give you a report. They're like, we're gonna play detective. This is your case, handle it. This is what went down. This is what we think went down. Maybe they'll attach some pictures of previous cases, like actual cases. They give you a case, right? Somebody who passed away, how they were attacked, whatever. You write your final from that case. You are the detective. You tell your professor, how would you take care of this case? And this is great. Like, his professor is actually, the name of Brian Kohberger's professor is actually listed on this final. I'm like, you are a great professor, literally a great professor, because something tells me that whenever Mr. Payne was trained, he was not trained this thoroughly. Why? Because when we track back and we see all of the fuck ups done by like 90% of the police department in Moscow, it's a problem, right? And I love cops, good cops, good cops. We need to pay them more fucking money. We need to make sure that they are trained to the fullest, right? Okay, a rapid training course, minimal training course on like how to run and jog a mile and do a couple pull-ups. Like, that is not going to set you up for success when it comes to leading a massive crime scene investigation. It's just not. So yeah, how about we put some of our tax dollars to work, pay those fucking cops a little bit more money, send them to actual training facilities so that they are well prepared, and do more psych assessments on these police officers, not like the basic ones that we do now. We need to do thorough psychological evaluations on police officers. Okay, the ones we do now are not thorough enough, in my opinion, and we end up with a lot of cops who score extremely high in sociopathic, psychopathic, and narcissistic traits. That is not a good combination. When you give this type of power to a cop, you're putting a sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissistic traits into this person, sending him out into the world to interact with civilians, and you're giving them a badge and a gun. Okay? You want people who are critical, who are objective, who can rationalize, who are not overly emotional, but who still possess a great degree of empathy to be able to deal with civilians. Not a fucking psycho narcissist with a badge and a fucking gun with minimal training, who, by the way, ends up shooting their goddamn gun, I'm sorry for my language, at a fucking acorn. I know damn well you guys have seen that cop. 2 cops. They released every damn bullet in their weapons. They unloaded their clips because of a fucking acorn, bro. That doesn't make me feel safe, okay? We need empathetic, objective, well-paid people. Please, God, it's not that hard. Then he goes on in his final to talk about the equipment he needs for the investigation, right? He needs a crime toolkit, contains 35mm camera or digital camera, videotaping the crime scene, a portable lighting system to ensure quality photographs, because that's what you would do. You would take pictures of the crime scene when you are processing the crime scene. Literally obvious. Assorted steel tape measures that can reach at least protect the scene from contamination, forceps, and then small tweezers and a pair of scissors, a small saw to take evidence, for example, drywall, filter paper, or small swabs for liquid evidence or trace evidence, various evidence containers for liquid and solid evidence, paper envelopes for physical evidence, evidence tape to seal off the evidence containers, casting material to take molds of possible footprints around the perimeter with a rubber container for the mixture. A magnifying device should be kept, crime scene tape for the scene, protective clothing, boot covers, eyewear, fiber-free overalls, face masks, hairnets, gowns, and anything that will prevent me from contaminating the scene with things I bring in with me. Literally basic things that people who investigate crime scenes need to have, which I don't remember seeing all of the cops at that crime scene wearing boot covers, wearing eyewear, wearing fiber-free overalls, wearing face masks, hairnets, gowns. Really? Because I know damn well we can still pull those pictures up. And guess what? Guess what the cops are doing? No booties, no face masks, no hairnets. They're just fucking chilling. Literally contaminating the crime scene. And we're supposed to believe this is some creepy plan. Oh my God. He's so scary. He's so dark. He's like Ted Bundy. He has a dark soul. Shut the fuck up, Becca. A blue light with yellow glasses, which make small trace evidence more can be used to ensure that a photo is taken of all evidence. There could be a small amount of blood somewhere which wouldn't have been sampled, documented, or photographed otherwise. And he goes on to talk about how to enter the home for crime scene documentation purposes and how to take the initial photography and videography. I may enter upon judicial approval of a search warrant and should do so with the minimum number of personnel. Minimum number of personnel. Literally the fucking opposite we saw at the IDAHO4. Literally the fucking opposite we saw at 1122 King Road. It's like everyone's like, oh my God, what the fuck happened here? We've never seen something like this in Moscow. Moscow is a safe town. Nothing horrible ever happens here. We all need to be fucking nosy and see what the fuck is going on. Contaminating crime scene. And by the way, I don't think Moscow is like this, like, oh my God, quaint little town. Oh my God, everyone is so amazing. Everyone is so family oriented. No, bitch, because I've kept track of all the cases coming out of that area. There's a lot of passed away frat boys, sorority girls that all magically happen to die under weird fucking circumstances. Some crimes have never been solved. Or they're like, well, she accidentally unalived herself. Did she really? Hannah Clear? Did she really? Hudson Lindo? Did they really? Those are just two out of other several that have passed away in really weird circumstances. Okay, we need to question that as well. The first thing for me to do is to take a coordinated series of crime scene photographs with a digital photography device of a 35mm camera from a natural point of view. These photos must be taken prior to the movement of any object in the crime scene to ensure that the photo captures the scene as the offender left it. The photographs should be taken from a general view of the exterior of the home as well as general views from the interior, recording the time and details of the photograph in my notes. Setting up portable lighting ensures that the elements of the crime are adequately illuminated for photographic documentation. The crime scene sketch. The crime scene sketch occurs after the scene was initially searched, photographed, and videotaped. The sketch is of great value in criminal court. This sketch should first be done in pencil to ensure that this sketch accurately portrays evidence and measurements pertaining to the crime scene. The final version will be done in non-perishable ink by a pen. Okay, this is not saying what Ashley Bumfield is saying. Okay, Ashley Bumfield is saying that supposedly in this final, he's talking about how to hide evidence, how to clear a crime. No, bitch. Did you even read the document? This is literally saying how to process a crime scene. But the guilters are going to say, but he talks about a knife being used in the crime. Again, when you go to school for this type of thing, they literally hand you the actual case and you just process it. You're just documenting. You're just writing. They give you the crime scene. The professor gives you the crime scene. The professor tells you, here we have a 35-year-old Caucasian male who was passed away by knivings, shankings. Okay? It's not like he just came up with this. Oh my God, let me use a knife in my project as well. No. He says, though it appears obvious that the knife was used in this crime, we do not know for sure and should make sure to document everything and look for less apparent evidence. Even if there was an item introduced to the scene by an offender to throw off investigators, it is not the job of the criminal investigator processing the crime scene to jump to conclusions. You know what's fucking ironic? That here we have the perfect way to process a crime scene in a legal fashion, right? You're following SOP, you're following standard operating procedure, you're following protocol. Basically 1, 2, 3, 4, right? There are steps to these things. And here we are going through these damn steps and Moscow Police Department did the fucking opposite of everything. That's what's fucking ironic. Right? like it mentions, it appears that a knife was used in this crime that he's processing for school of a 35-year-old Caucasian female. We do not know this for sure and should make sure to document everything. Look for less apparent evidence, okay? No, they fucking ran with it. It was a K-bar, for sure it was a K-bar used on all 4 people, for sure. They never bothered to look for less apparent evidence, even when the coroner Maybet came forward and said, yeah, there's some pretty big fucking holes in those kids. Right? Could have been machetes, golf clubs, whatever else. No, let's do the opposite of what we're supposed to do. Let's jump to conclusions. Let's not look for other evidence. Let's just go with the K-bar. Let's just go with the K-bar. And then it talks about if there was an item introduced to the scene by an offender to throw off investigators. In this case, let's be real. The sheath is looking like something that could have been thrown into the crime scene to throw off investigators, right? Because this is literally supposedly the only source of touch DNA that was allegedly linked to Brian Kohberger. But it wasn't anywhere else. Nor did they find any evidence in his vehicle, in his apartment, at the house in PA, nothing. Everything else fucking inconclusive, right? So it's looking like it was introduced to the crime scene. And what does Brian Kohberger say in his final for school? It is not the job of the investigator to jump to conclusions. They literally fucking jumped to conclusions. They literally did that. Oh my God, there's a sheath here. That means the crime was committed by a K-bar. Probably wasn't even a K-bar. To this day, we don't even know if it was a K-bar. It doesn't sound like it matches a K-bar. Guys, you can't lie to me. You can't bullshit me. Nigga, K-bar is a huge weapon made to kill people. I have a K-bar. I showed you my K-bar like a dozen times already, bro. Telling you right now, a K-bar is not going to work for 4 people. To commit a crime in what, under 15 minutes? It's not going to work. So he's saying, if new pieces of physical evidence are uncovered, I will take note of it for documentation and photography, videography. Things such as footprints inside and outside should be prepared to be photographed and videotaped. I must photograph and videotape the new evidence as well as log it with the following information and account for it in the crime scene sketch. I'm kind of skipping through this because it's basically processing the crime scene. It's pretty effing boring, okay? There's nothing about some dark, evil plan. Is it in the thumb? Is it in the title? Yeah, but you still clicked. Because that's what the media is saying, okay? Literally twisting this. Oh, his evil plan. You mean his final for 2020? He talks about other evidence being present. If there is evidence of SA or semen, the evidence should be marked, swabbed, and collected in a glass vial or cellophane bag. Is there evidence of personation? Did the offender take something? Or did the offender display an excessive need for control over the victim as demonstrated by possible SA and murder? These are all observations to be recorded, though not conclusively. During the searching phase, the evidence should be marked with the following information: the size of the object, the physical nature of the object, as if it's solid or liquid, the value of the object, and the number of like objects, the case number pertaining to evidence. Again, basic boring things such as date, exact time retrieved, initials of the person who marked the evidence, BK in this case, right? Because he's the one putting himself in the situation of somebody who is processing the crime scene. Then he goes through the steps of how to package the evidence for sending out to a forensic lab. Again, this is a very detailed SOP. It's a legit protocol on how to send out this evidence, right? Because let me tell you something, you can't just wrap it up in a Ziploc baggie and mail it the fuck off. This is evidence. Did Moscow Police Department do that? I wouldn't put it past them. Again, we've seen how they have processed other evidence before. We have seen how they tampered with the crime scene. We have seen how almost nobody wore face masks, mustache masks, booties. They were walking in and out, stomping all over the fucking crime scene, in and out. So how was the evidence packaged to be sent out to this forensic lab? Again, I think that this is a document that literally should be sent to every cop in Moscow Police Department. That way they understand what they are supposed to do accurately to accurately process a crime scene. Maybe they could learn a little bit from this document. He also mentions that one of the last steps is you have to reach out to other agencies and immediate elements of the investigation, right? Like inquiries that would occur concurrently with the crime scene investigation, as well as county records. We know that when he wrote this crime scene that he was given to break down, to analyze for school, revolved around a 35-year-old female Caucasian. So he's talking about, does she have kids? The county records office should give us this information. If so, the welfare of the children should be ensured. We are aware that there are disheveled items of children's furniture around, but where are the kids? Something else that wasn't done by Moscow Police Department. Again, they fucked everything up from the start, right? Because according to what we have heard from a lot of the parents of the victims, they were not communicating. They, law enforcement, they, Moscow Police Department, they, the FBI. According to the Gonsalves, nobody was communicating with them in the early days. Another fuck up. You're literally supposed to reach out to the family, to friends, close friends, family of the victims, and they didn't do that. Calls to the clerk of court's office to see if there's a PFA out on the husband or boyfriend should be made. The husband or boyfriend of the deceased woman should be contacted to establish an alibi. He needs to be immediately located and questioned. The kids should be located as soon as possible, and an Amber Alert should be set if they're not accounted for. Does their father even have rights to see the kids under normal circumstances? And did he take them? Neighbors should be questioned to see if the father was around or if any suspicious person was present. And he goes on about how to compile evidence in the preliminary report, as well as the progress report, as well as how to close the report and prosecution report. It says, finally, adding this information to the FBI's National Incident-Based Report System will allow the FBI's Uniform Crime Report to give summative information on all applicable crimes to help police officers, criminologists, and criminal investigators understand the social trends of crime, thus aiding future causes, right? So this report that we just went through, this a literal final for school back in 2020, is going to be used to paint Coberger in a horrible, dark, mysterious, evil, unaliver man who now, according to a lot of people, is also socially incompetent and special needs. We'll talk about his special needs in another video, because I don't have the energy for it today. But before I go, I will check the chat here. How are you guys doing, by the way? What did you think of that report that I just read? Do you think it's going to be misconstrued? Of course it is. Miss Fit Nikki, hello. Ruby, he will not be taking the stand. 0% chance. It's like not letting me get to the top of the chat for some reason. Top chat. Oh, there we go. Oh my God. There's a lot of messages. There's no way I'm going to be able to catch up, but yeah, Mads, does Bumfield know what a case study is? Of course she fucking doesn't. That bitch doesn't know shit unless it makes her money, right? Come on. Oh my God, right? Coberger, the darkest, scariest, most evil man on the planet. Have you seen his eyes with that demonic look in his face? Mr. Gonzalez, how do you feel about Brian Kohberger? Deborah, one knife doesn't do what happened. More weapons had to be involved. Yes, ma'am. Big one seen on Huda London Vids. I read this book. Ruby says, it does seem unlikely he would leave a sheaf or drive his own car to commit such a crime. It's just like really weird. And what's more weird is that they magically happen to find this sheath like on the second go round. Like you didn't see this sheath at all when you first saw the bodies and everything else. It's interesting how it just magically appeared on the second go round. Francis, Nika, you're so real and so right. I love it. Plus your language. Yeah. Curse him out. That's all I can do. Maba is weird. No toxicology reports. Yeah, according to the state, the toxicology reports don't matter. Oh, they don't matter. Really, they don't matter? Because I also have another theory. We know that this house was very likely to have been full of pharmaceuticals, illegal ones. They're college students. A lot of college students use pharmaceuticals, legal or illegal. Sometimes they abuse them even. Sometimes things get laced, right? With very potent things like fentanyl. If kids are trying to have fun, it's party night, blah, blah, blah. They're trying to do some rugs. Trying to do some rugs on the weekend. They happen to get a bad batch. They pass away forever and ever. Do you think that's something that the president of the university wants eyes on? Do you think that that's going to benefit Moscow or the entire area? I would say no, right? If you have a bunch of kids passing away from laced rugs, it's not a good look. You're almost better off just setting up the bodies as if a horrible crime was committed versus getting to potentially another cause of them being unalived. Was it a fentanyl OD? Was it some sort of illegal substance OD? And then they just set the bodies up to look like it was a crime. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. Otherwise, why the fuck are you hiding the toxicology reports? Right? You know what's crazy? You know what's a crazy idea? When you release the fucking truth, aka the toxicology reports, we don't have to fucking speculate. Oh my God. Isn't that insane, guys? Oh my God. So just release the toxicology reports. Stop pretending like they don't matter because they fucking do. And then people get upset. Oh my God, Nika, how dare you speculate like that? You have no empathy. No, bitch, I'm extremely empathetic. That's why I want everything released. Everything. I don't care who looks bad. I don't care if the victims look bad. I don't care if the G family looks bad. I don't care if fucking Kohberger looks bad. I want everything released. Stop hiding the fucking toxicology reports. That's literally one of the most important things. And here we have Maybet. Well, it doesn't really matter. You know, what happened shouldn't have really happened. It does, bitch, because the toxicology reports could show if something in their bloodstream was the cause of death. You dumb bitch. So fucking stupid. Like, you don't need a master's degree to know that. Lolo, if BK is guilty, for sure, why this massive manipulation from the beginning till now? Exactly. Exactly. L. Clark, crazy to think a criminologist would have stuff like detailed crime notes, especially when he had already sent out his little survey. It's like part of school. Again, if you guys have never had a master's degree in, or any sort of like criminology background, even a medical background, like you do understand what a case study is, right? They didn't even bother to look for a murder weapon. That's right, sons. Super vegan with the leather sheath. Misfit Nikki, the filing from the defense, BK mental and social inabilities. She writes how his affect and manner of speech do not allow him to adequately explain himself. Well, I do have a lot of autistic coworkers. They don't know how to explain themselves either. Payne gets a see me after class marking for the PCA. I'm still waiting for them to prove his car was in that neighborhood that night. I'm willing to go along with him somehow being involved, though I strongly doubt it. But if he did not drive there, right? It's like, yeah, I don't have a horse in this race. I lose literally nothing if Kohberger committed this crime. I don't. If he did it, he fucking did it. But we need to see the evidence. We need to see the evidence. And L. Clark says, even if he did it, I couldn't vote to convict him based on how much law enforcement took liberty with the truth and how unprofessional the entire investigation has been. That's why it's so important to have good cops out there, well-trained police officers, because when you have these fuck-up cops, like here in Moscow, guess what happens? If Brian Coberger actually did this fucking crime, good luck, because if Ann Taylor can fuck up that you did not follow the law, you went around and about and collected things in an illegal manner, in a roundabout way, yeah, you are fucked. You just released a fucking killer out in the world, potentially. Because all that Ann Taylor needs to be able to show is that he somehow managed to, or prove that the state, or prove that the cops are doing something illegal. That's all she needs. And right now, there's a lot of lying being done by some of the cops. Taurus Wave says, I framed him. I believe a cop is involved. Musical Contessa, hello. Thank you for the 100%. Kim Young, hello. Yay, welcome, Kim Young. Kim Young, for your first live. You're the most beautiful ballsy girl on YouTube. Oh, I get it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Misconstrued. Oh, that's good. JK says, I just saw an orb. Yeah, they're always here. Orbs and shadows, chilling, because they feel safe at my place, guys. And yeah, Explore Court, the fact that many say that because BK studied criminals and put out a survey asking questions makes him guilty, that is mind-boggling, because it's like, again, if you guys were to go through like my searches, especially the things I was searching while I was getting my master's in psych, and some of the searches that I do for like true crime, you'd be like if you didn't know me, you'd be like, what the fuck? What's wrong with this woman? There's obviously something dark and sinister about her. No, bitch. Maybe I'm just a medical professional. Maybe I'm just somebody getting a master's degree in psychology and I have to learn about dark, evil, sociopathic minds. You know how many searches I've done on Ted Bundy and people like Ted Bundy? A lot. for school. I'm just saying. Either way, guys, let me know. Do you think that Coberger is cooked? Do you think this is actually a step-by-step detailed crime notes? And that I was wrong about Kohberger and that this is all his evil plan, that's where he learned how to clean up the crime scene. Because if you do, you're a fucking idiot. Because this is literally telling us how to process a scene, not how to get rid of evidence, not how to hide evidence, not how to hide a body, not how to hide toxicology reports. Okay? So, yeah, sorry to burst your bubble, babe. Sorry. That's it for the day, guys. Go fight in the comments now. Entertain me. Just kidding. Don't fight. Don't fight. Love each other. I need to go to work. I'm tired. You guys are still here? Oh my God. This is my ADHD brain. Freeze? Pause? Wow, I saw myself on camera and I look like an elf. Oh my God. Literally just like click off of it because I'm like done. I'm curious how many people would hang out. I'm curious to see how many people would hang out. Like, even if I just didn't even talk, like, if I just sat here and did my fucking work, would you guys, like, still be here, like, creeping, like, just watching me? This should be a social experiment. I should do that. But if I did that, I could see it being used against me later, like, oh my gosh, she's evil. She did a social experiment on YouTube because she likes being watched. Just need like to hang out like before I go to work. Oh my gosh, I want a croissant. Un croissant. Un croissant, s'il vous plaît. Beautiful. Take me here. You guys are still here? I literally said to go home. Unless you just want to hang out. I told y'all I was done, okay? Explore core, what's going on. I told you to go home if you wanted to. But you're still here. How cute. Italy. I love Venice. And Florence. Rome. Eh. What the fuck? What is this? Was ist das? A little. This is a little PG-13. She's pretty. Sometimes you just need to like de-stress, you know? Great snack, by the way. One of my favorites, literally potato chips and champagne. I know I'm a basic bitch. Ugh, I'm craving it. Girl dinner. I literally will sometimes have that for dinner. Not often, but sometimes. He's cooking for her. Maybe she's at a restaurant though. I don't know. I just assumed that was her husband though. Like, I like art. You're gonna die, babe. Your phone, my phone. Have you guys heard of this guy? He's amazing. Okay, he's so young, but he's so smart. Nate Lawrence, he talks about, have you guys heard of Ray Peat? I'm a big follower of Ray Peat. He's gone now. He was a scientist. How to boost metabolic rate, how to look young without like Botox and nasty shit. Flux. Sorry, I think it's showing weird because of, yeah. I think Nate Lawrence is on YouTube, actually. Ooh, she's really pretty. I like her hair. Do you guys like poofy hair like that? Or straight hair? I like natural beauties. Also, a friendly reminder to spend time in nature, okay? Claude Monet said, "The richness I achieve comes from nature, the source of my inspiration." I love falling asleep to the sound of crickets. That's Claude Monet right here. Nature is the best. Claude Monet, amazing. I'm actually just more or less curious to see how many of you will stick around. Look at that. Can you build me this, please? Pretty, please. Pretty, pretty, please. Syra, you don't like the sound of crickets? What book is this? It's like it's this guy who started his own company. I literally shouldn't be promoting him for free, but I'm just kidding. This is my first one. It's okay. It's mostly ads, but still cool. War Kitchen. If you guys buy it, give him my name because these are not cheap. I should get a discount. And I love cooking, guys. I love to bake, especially baking. Sourdough, OMG. Sourdough is life. Look at that. Sourdough explained. Wow. Have you guys ever been to Turkey? Okay, the Turks know how to do ice cream right. Okay. This is a pistachio berry ice cream. Look at this. Heavenly. Okay. I love a good Turkish ice cream with, of course, a Turkish coffee because you need to get that adrenaline going. And of course, if you ever do go to Turkey, of course you need to do this as well, like the hot air balloon thing. It's a must. I got to travel around a lot, not because I'm fucking loaded, because I'm not, but because I was in the military, guys. Pros and cons. You sign your life away, but you get to visit different countries, right? So holistic bodybuilding, I'm not a fan. I don't want to hear about microplastics. Boring. Um, Mediterranean food. Ooh, Mediterranean coffee. Get that. I mostly bought this for the food pics. Like so. Ooh, French fries. Oh my God. I actually think that Turkish ice cream is better than Italian gelato. The Italians are gonna come after me now. Great, great. All right, enough BSing here. You start work. IDAHO4. I'm a big believer of this. This is so random. The cups you choose to drink from matter. Think of all the ideas you're missing out on just because you're not sipping on a radically designed piece of glass. Fancy goblets, artisan glass, fragile porcelain, it all adds more to quality of life than you can imagine. Fine china. Now, I'm not above fine china. I'll drink from a sippy cup or a paper cup. But, like, if you do have something nice, I don't know, you know? Like, enjoy it. Like, put it to use. Don't let it gather dust in your kitchen. Thank you guys for joining me in the live, in the chat. Let me know what you thought about this video. Leave it a like, leave it a comment, an emoji. I love emojis. And there's still 161 of you here. I bet if I went to the bathroom, you guys would probably still be on. I'm not gonna try it. Oh, before I go, one of you had asked on my Instagram for my book collection here. My new book collection, sort of new. So, I've shown you this pile already, but this one. Highly recommend The Silent Patient. It's like it's a psychological read. I read it in like just a couple hours. I'm a voracious reader. I read about, on average, I'm gonna say like 2 books a week. The Word is Murder by Anthony Hopkins. Aragon, I've not really gotten into it, but it's about a dragon, I think, or like something weird. I haven't gotten into it. It's like, and then this one is my next read, Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. It's the same author of The Silence of the Lambs. And I also have a Spanish book here called La Tumba by Jose Agustin. Very famous edition of the book. And I also have a couple of books in French and more Spanish books, a lot of psychology books, and I love the books of The Notebook of Leonardo da Vinci. I am also a scientist, and I used to do more of medical lab science back in the day, which is more like blood work and urinary sediments and microbiology. Now I do more cancer things, so yeah. All right, guys, I really have to go now. Thank you guys for joining me. Bye, guys. Take care.